Well, you're all very welcome here to Castleisland Desmond's pitch. Of course, it's a big day for the district of Castleisland because two great rivals take on one another this afternoon. You have, of course, Scartaglen, not too far away from us here, taking on Cordal. Actually, great tradition down the years by these two teams, and today will be no different. Of course, it's the 2020 Kerry Petroleum Junior Club Championship Group 2 playoff game. And well, I suppose the story behind this as well, if Cordal had played Valencia maybe and got the points they needed on that game, they mightn't have to play this game today, but now they have to take on the might of Scartaglen. And with that, I'll get a chance now to go through both teams for this game. We start off with the Cordal team. In goals, Sean O'Kewan. The full back line, Gary O'Leary, Joe Sheehy and Jamie Cahill. The half back line, Brian Reedy, Sean O'Connell and Padraig Brosnan. In the middle of the park you have the joint captains Donal McCarthy and Kieran Enright. The half forward line, Michael Flynn, Philip O'Connor and Jason Cronin. And the full forward line for the Cordal side is Eamon Nolan, Jonathan O'Donnell and Sean Walsh. Moving over to the Scartaglen side, in goals, of course, we've David Kearns. The full back line, Alan Horan. At full back is Ger O'Connor, who captains the side. And in the other corner is Giles O'Connor. Right half back you've Josh Kearns, centre back is Padraig Reedy, and on the left is Hugh O'Connor. In the middle of the park it's Thomas Ford and Sean Horan. The half forward line, at right half forward Flor McCarthy, Brendan Rahaley on the 40, and on the other wing it's Niall Casey. And the full forward line is Shea Walsh at right corner forward, Eddie Horn it's full forward, and then you have Mike Horn who completes the full forward line. And of course the referee for this afternoon's game here in Castleisland is none other than Seamus Mulvihill, a well-known referee around our county and has refereed at the very highest level. And in a moment we will be pausing for our Rán a Bhín. Wind is quite strong here, and I'm sure it will be a factor during this game. Of course, a number of players would have inter-county experience on both sides as well. And now we pause for our Rán a Bhín. Yes, and there we have it. We have our Rán a Bhín, so that puts everything in place. All the talking is done, all the preparation has been complete, and well, hopefully we'll have a very entertaining game coming up, because we've different rivalries right throughout our county, no different to Lisbon and Dingle, North Kerry, of course, Emmett's playing any one of the district teams, and this is no different here this afternoon here in Castleisland, where Scartaglen take on neighbours, and I'm sure there's even cousins on either side of these two teams. So a lot of work has been done, of course, by Mike Cahill, of course the manager of the Cordal side. Likewise Tim Dineen, the manager of the Scartaglen side. I'm looking at two Mulvihills out there, Stephen Mulvihill Senior and Seamus Mulvihill out in the middle of the park. Of course they'll be Seamus is going to be reffing it. He's going to look down towards his umpires at the roadside, and likewise to the other side of the field. And once his linesmen are in place, once the players are in place, and we can see already that number 5 for Scartaglen has gone to the middle of the park. That's Josh Kearns, of course, with Thomas Ford, and that'll be a change. Of course, one man going in the 40 as well. Of course, the two Horn brothers, they'll be the players they'll be looking to this afternoon with Scartaglen. And of course, in the middle of the park you have Brian Reedy, of course, has gone from wing back to the middle of the park for Cordal, and likewise the number 8 will stay there, and that's one of the joint captains, and that is Donal McCarthy. I see Seamus Mulville, of course. This guy put on a marker probably very early in this game. Both teams will know each other and probably go in very hard from the start, but Seamus has been around long enough to be able to deal with it, and we're ready for the action here in Castleisland Desmond's pitch. That ball is broken in the middle of the park. Man playing very deep for Scartaglen. That's Mike Horn, comes out and spreads that ball wide with the centre forward, of course, Brendan Rahilly down there on the attack. This Scartaglen side, right in the far side now is there. Full forward, of course, that's Eddie Horn. Big things expected from Eddie this afternoon here in Castleisland Desmond. That ball comes all the ways out into the middle of the park again, and that's where the man wearing the number 8 jersey for Cordal, Donald McCarthy, the giant captain of the side, give it to Jason Cronin, who will pick it up. Give it to Philip O'Connor. Of course, Philip played with the Kerry Juniors, captain the Kerry Juniors, number of All-Ireland Junior medals by this man, being held up there by the number 9, of course, of Scartaglen, and that's Sean Horn. Now he let it long into the full forward line, looking for John O'Donnell. John has the height inside. John O'Donnell, he's looking to offload. He'll give it out to his corner forward. The corner forward, of course, is Eamon Nolan. That's well broken down there, but he manages to get the rebound. That's put out to the 45. Looking for the man there is Brian Reedy, of course, playing at midfield. Give it to Philip off the outside of the boot. This is an absolutely beauty of a point after a minute of play here. Philip O'Connor, the main talisman for Cordal. And so the early blood goes to the Cordal side after good work, of course, by Brian Reedy and likewise Philip O'Connor himself. And they get on the scoreboard, and the first score of the game, a real beauty from about 25 metres out off the outside of the boot, came from the man on the 40. That is Philip O'Connor. Now, with the kick out is David Kearns, the and a strong wind, the wind blown right towards his goal at the moment, but this ball will stay in the air. Up will go the big men in the middle of the park. That ball will be broken, picked up by the wing forwards, and that's Michael Flynn of Cordal, being surrounded by a number of Scartaglen players, but then managed to get away with it. That ball is played back to a cornerback who's come forward. That's Gary O'Leary. Let's spread that ball wide. That's Jason Cronin now. Jason will solo. Will he send this ball long? Looking diagonal ball inside. The first ball inside was worked by Jonathan O'Donnell. They'll be well aware of that. Scartaglen, the threat he'll cause. The former Brosnan player, of course, won an All-Ireland Junior Club medal with Brosnan, but now has switched allegiances. He's now playing with Cordal. That ball is put up along the wing. Now, the man coming out trying to get it is Shea Walsh, just outside the 45, but that goes out over the line on the far side, and that'll be a line ball to Scartaglen. No ball is being put in right into the edge of the square yet for Eddie Horn. I'm sure there will be enough, because Eddie Horn and Sean Horn are being the main linchpins as far as the Scartaglen side is concerned. Man playing very deep is Shea Walsh. Now he hits the 45 of Cordal, being surrounded there. Tackling is quite hard and close up, and with that Cordal concede a free down on the far side, about 35 metres out from the Cordal goal, and well, Scartaglen really no rush to take this free. We're looking up at the clock. Countdown clock they have here, which is probably a good idea as well. Looking up, there's 27 minutes and 14 seconds left of the first half here. A very windy Castleisland Desmond's pitch here at the moment. Now, this ball is going long right into the edge of the square, but it's gone to the left and harmlessly wide. And as we said, some great players on both sides. Of course, Padraig Reedy being a great servant at underage football and at senior level, winning All-Ireland medals with the Kingdom. He's still just strutting his stuff right at centre back for the Scartaglen side. And a number of players, of course, as we mentioned already, the Horns being involved at under 20 level. Of course, minor All-Ireland medal winner there as well was Eddie Horn. That ball is put right into the middle of the park. He got real length in it there. Sean O'Kirwan is picked up over on the far side. With that, a free again for the Cordal side, just outside the 45. One of the Cordal players is down at the moment, down injured, but they don't stay down for long. They're hardy men from Cordal, and especially Jamie Cahill. Of course, Jamie Cahill is a brother of the manager, and I think Jamie, to the best of my knowledge, has been in Australia. Well, he's back today, and well, you're really at home when you win a free. 45 metres out, and the man who will take it will be Philip O'Connell. Sometimes they bring up Sean Oak for days, but now this free is outside the 45. By the time he'll march forward, playing with the advantage of the wind here, he does his little shimmy, does his little dance. Now he pulls the trigger. It's high. Where is it going? It's going to the right and going wide. Missed opportunity there by Cordal. Look up at the clock. There's 4 minutes and 10 seconds gone here in the Castleisland Desmond's pitch, and both teams just settling down, getting to know each other. But in the lead is that Cordal side after a great point in the very first minute with Philip O'Connor. Now it'll be David Kearns. His last kick out, well, really held with this strong swirling breeze. Will he go to the other side of the field? He's come over to the stand side with his last kick out. Will he go down the centre with this one? Now he's on his approach. It looks like it will go down the centre again, but he decides to go short on this opportunity, playing it for his wing back, and that's Hugh O'Connor. Hugh O'Connor will give it out to Sean Horn. Sean Horn outside the 45 now. He'll see the run of the fullback. That's Ger O'Connor, the captain this side. Leaves one of the Cordal guys on his knees after that belt of his shoulder. Still with possession, the Scartaglen men driving forward, being pulled and dragged. There is Mike Horn over on the far side, but still manages to get forward, being pulled there and dragged, and this will be a very close in free as far as Scartaglen is concerned here, and of course they will be taking it again. And it's the Horns boys are very, very influential, and over the far side you have Sean Horn, and of course right in the edge of the square you have Eddie, and that will go high and it'll go over the bar, and that's the leveler here after 5 minutes of play. It's 1 point apiece, and actually that was Eddie Horn who put that ball over the bar. Now with a kick out will be Sean O'Kirwan. He'll go short on this occasion, giving it his cornerback Gary O'Leary. Gary O'Leary coming outside the 20-metre line will give it out to his wing back, and his wing back of course is Brian Reedy. Well, he's not the wing back, he's a playing midfield. That change was from the outset, and well, more I suppose an attacking role he has in times gone past for the Cordal side. Now that ball is put into the middle, looking for the midfielder. That's Kieran Enright, joint captain of the side, putting it in long. That's well won inside the mark, and that's well won there by young Sean Walsh inside, right outside on the edge of the D, out in front of his marker, and utilising the mark. And with that, a little stride forward, Seamus Mulvihill blows the whistle, and this man kicks it over the bar. The umpire runs to the flag, and Cordal go into a 1 point lead. We're looking up at the clock, it says 23:48 left in the first half here in Castleisland Desmond's pitch, and the advantage is with the Cordal side by the minimum. It's Cordal 2 points, Scartaglen a 1 point. And as we said earlier, going through those teams, you look in the middle of the park, they have options from both sides to move different players into the middle. The original selection was Donald McCarthy and Kieran Enright in the middle of the park, up against Thomas Ford and Sean Horn. Suddenly you could see the two Horns in the middle of the park. That ball is broken from that kick out by David Kearns. The referee is right on it there. That's Seamus Mulvihill, about 55 metres out from the Cordal goal, and it'll be the Horns to get on with it, and that's Sean Horn. Get the return pass again, takes the return pass from his cornerback. That's Giles O'Connor moving it wide now for more space, looking for Thomas Ford over on the far side, giving it to Brendan Rahilly, the man on the 40. They're still about 50 metres out from the Cordal goal, giving it in now to Eddie Horn, the man, the free taker, the free scoring player. Eddie will look up, he'll try to turn players, a serious players being involved of course with the Kerry on the 20s, putting that inside, looking for the inside forwards, trying to get the angle. Have they a chance here? Right into the edge of the square, that ball is broken down now. It's a point inside by the opportunist. That was Mike Horn to fist it over the bar, and that brings it back level here after 8 minutes of play in the first half here in Castleisland. Looking up at the scoreboard, there's nothing between these sides, they said coming into it. Well, there's definitely nothing between these sides after 8 minutes of play. It's Cordal 2 points, it's Scartaglen 2 points. Now with a kick out is Sean O'Kirwan going high into the opposition 45. That ball will fall behind, but well read inside. The backs were alert to it there as far as Cordal was concerned. Padraig Reedy gone back inside his own 45 to collect, gives it out to his midfielder. Of course that's Thomas Ford, being really tackled hard there by Jonathan Rundall and caught for overcarrying. That's as good as a score for Cordal right outside the 45. And players hadn't retreated. Philip O'Connor was trying to get anxious to get on with a quick free. Philip, with the advantage of the win, will play that ball behind for the help, looking for his midfielder. Of course that's the midfielder is Donald McCarthy, right into the danger area, but they're mopping it up inside the cornerbacks, and well, a free inside, and probably no need to pull down that particular Scartaglen player. And with that there's going to be a free out, and the referee will often have a word with a guy when you pull somebody down. It's dangerous these days pulling anyone down, because you'll end up with a black card, and if you get a black card, well, you'll be close to us up here in the commentary position. And that man has cleared his lines twice, and that's the cornerback, and that's Alan Horn. Great servant of course to the Scartaglen side. That's with the centre back now, Padraig Reedy, trying to roll back the years inside his own 45, gives it to his midfielder. That is Sean Horn over on the far side, hugging that far sideline. Of course is Thomas Ford taking the return pass now. A couple of players playing very deep from that full forward line, but one man isn't, and that is Eddie Horn now. Eddie Horn, 35 metres out, aims it at the goal, aims it towards Sean O'Kirwan, but that is pulled to the right and wide, and that wind has huge factor here in the first half in Castleisland Desmond's pitch. Of course it's the playoff, it's between old rivals Scartaglen and Cordal. But after 10 minutes of play here, looking up at the scoreboard, it says Cordal 2 points, Scartaglen the 2 points. Now from that kick out, it goes right into the middle of the park, bypasses midfield, and if it bypasses midfield, the man that comes out and collects is the corner forward. The corner forward is Eamon Nolan, and with that Eamon is fouled about 40 metres out from the Scartaglen goal. Seamus Mulvihill is just speaking to one or two players just to calm it down a bit, and a bit, I won't say it's frustration, it's too early for that to gather and go, but just letting fellas know that you're on the pitch. And I'm sure Seamus is well used to this, and likewise the players, and they'll deal with it. And I'm sure Eamon Nolan will be to his feet, and with that he will carry on, and the free could be taken by the man who's come from his own goals right up to the opposing 45, and that is Sean O'Kirwan. It's about 40 metres out. He's going to be aided by the wind here, playing into the roadside goals, into the scoreboard, into here in Castleisland. Sean O comes back about 4 metres from the ball. He'll drive forward, he'll probably hit it towards the far post because we have a swirling breeze with that. He's aimed to the far post, but it's an absolute beaut by Sean Og, the former Kerry Junior goalkeeper. Well, he's doing his stuff here with Cordal. Of course, he's the keeper for St. Kieran's as well, and these clubs of course make up, 2 of the clubs do help the St. Kieran's journey every year, with a number of other clubs, of course, the Castleislands and Knocknagoshel and Brosnan, Ballymac and Curra. But at the moment he's doing it for the Cordal side, and that's put Cordal into a 1-point lead after 11 minutes of play here in Castleisland. It's Cordal 3 points, 2 points for Scartaglen. Now David Cairns with a kick out. This is the wind will take it over the side of the field, very close here to the stand side, but that's well held there by Brian Reedy. He anxious to get on with a quick free, but with that, cut for over carrying, he either was going to take the mark or else play on, and with that he took too much out of the ball. There's Seamus Mulvihill shouting the odds out there, speaking to a few players. I'm reffing it, you're not reffing it, and well, I suppose that's what the referee must do. Anxious to get on with the free was Sean Horn, giving it to his wing back. His wing back, of course, is Hugh O'Connor now into the middle of the park, and the man come deep to collect, that's Brendan Rahally. And every time you see this happening, they're allowing the Scartaglen to have the ball around the middle of the park, and they retreat. They get bodies behind the ball. Cordal over the far side is the wing back, that's gone forward. Hugh O'Connor, they're about 35 metres out from the Cordal goal. Now it's with the corner forward, that's Shea Walsh now in a solo run, going towards the 14-metre line, and he's pulled down there, and that's a free, a very close in free. And again, Seamus Mulvihill having a word with one or two players, and well, I suppose with the last couple of minutes we've seen these players trying to get to know one another, and with that, every time you do it in the danger area you're going to concede a free, and this should be very easy for Eddie Horn to level matters here after 13 minutes to play in the first half. And Eddie Horn, he'll take a little stride forward, aim, fire, and it's over the bar. Good score by them, good, well walked into a danger area and popped it over the bar. We're now looking up at the scoreboard. It says beside the flags, and the flags are flying high and the wind is behind them, but it says Cordal 3 points, Scartaglen 3 points. With the kick out is Sean O'Kirwan. Where's Sean O going with this? Will he go the far side? Will he go down the centre? It looks like he's going down the centre, and that's where it's going. John O'Donnell is coming to the middle of the park. He'll tap it down, but he taps it down into a Scartaglen man. That's Thomas Ford winning possession. He'll give it out to his wing back, and his wing back is Hugh O'Connor over on the far side, trying to get something going through their wing for their man in the centre forward, Brendan Rahally, hugging that far sideline, still keeping possession, trying to prize an opening. There's a number of Cordal players back, and that'll win it from there. It was Brian Reedy, he'll help the cause as well, giving it out into the middle of the park, looking for their midfielder, and of course that's Donald McCarthy, one of the giant captains, still with possession. Their cornerback is getting into the action, that's Giles O'Connor over the far side, giving it down for the centre forward. Of course that's Philip O'Connor now 35 metres out, looks up at the post, the go-to player, and he's got a point, and he's put Cordal into a 1 point lead after 14 minutes of play in the first half here in the Castleisland Desmond's pitch. Looking up at the scoreboard, it says 16:37. That's what's left in this half. The scoreboard tells us Cordal 4 points, Scartaglen 3 points, and now it'll be David Cairns, of course, the Scartaglen goalkeeper, with the kick out, and the wind is having a huge factor here in this first half. Looking out on the far side, there's a number of people outside that far railing trying to get a vantage point. They're not at home watching us, they're here listening to us and looking at the game, but they're outside the pitch, and a ball abiding by the rules. Social distancing is the order of the day. Over on the far side, still with the solo run, it's Thomas Ford now, the Scartaglen man. Nobody near him at the moment. With that ball is put forward, looking for his corner forward. That's Mike Horton. Mike Horton putting it in, looking for the other corner forward. That's Shea Walsh. Shea Walsh now 30 metres out from the Cordal goals. Is still with the corner forwards again. Mike Horton still with possession. They'll bring it back out and they'll give it to Eddie Horton. Eddie will try to prize an open, tries to sell a dummy. He offloads now to Brendan Rahilly, but they're still about 35 metres out from the Cordal goal. A hit and hope ball there by the full forward. Where is that going? It's going to fall to the left and wide, and you'd have to say defensively they set themselves up nicely on that occasion. The Cordal side got bodies back and making it difficult to break down, and that seems to be what the tactic of Mike Cahill, the management team, is to get his players behind the ball, making it difficult, I suppose, especially to try and stop the runs of both Eddie Horn and Sean Horn. Now go with the short kick out again. Sean Oak, probably wise on this occasion, putting it out, looking for their midfielder now. And their midfielder, of course, Kieran Enright. His father, of course, played in the last couple of years with Cordal. Now it's with Philip O'Connor on the other side, off the outside of the boot. He's looking aside for John O'Donnell. I thought he was being held inside, but there was a free and a push inside, and with that it's going to be a free out as far as they are concerned. But the danger was when you leave Jonathan O'Donnell inside the edge of the square, it's danger throughout. And with that we have the first water break of the afternoon in this game, and it comes after 15 minutes of play. Seamus Mulvihill blows the whistle, and with that both teams are going to go to their designated areas of the pitch. The Cordal must have won the toss because they're very close to the stand side here, and likewise over on the far side Scartaglen, of course the juvenile goals is over on that far side as well. So with the first water break, and has been the done thing in the last number of weeks in our games here in Kerry. Of course it's a feast of football this weekend in our county. Last night we had East Kerry, the reigning champions, taken on St Brendan's, and they showed why they were reigning champions, won that quite comfortably in the end. And tonight we can look forward to as well Dr. Crokes, of course, the kingpins in Kerry with the last 10-15 years at club level, will take on the district side. Of course that is Mid Kerry, and that'll be an interesting game as well. And of course we have to say hello, and maybe he's watching us this afternoon, I have to say hello to Tony Brosnan. The whole county is rooting for him because this is a serious player, having kicked 218 in 2 championship games. What a big loss, but Crokes are so good, I'm sure somebody else will step up to the mark this evening. And the other side, of course, we have Mid Kerry. They'll have the Darren O'Sullivans tonight and the Gavin O'Grady's. But at the moment we're here in Castleisland, Desmond's pitch, and an enthralling game so far. It's 4 points to 3. The advantage is with the Cordal side, and they're just coming back into their respective positions after their first water break of the afternoon. Seamus Mulvihill there looking to see that everything is in the right place, make sure that free is taken from where the play has been stopped. And of course Paul Hayes will be the referee tonight in tonight's game between Dr. Crokes, of course, and Mid Kerry. Now back with the action here in Castleisland, Desmonds. Man, tight quarters there, right hugging this sideline was the wing back for Cordal, being surrounded by a number of players. That was Padraig Brosnan, and with that Philip O'Connor, he gets his free, right, a metre in from the sideline, outside the 45. Right, this ball is going to be lamped inside the full back, and Jonathan O'Donnell will tap it down. He'll tap it down, he'll win it. He offloads straight away. He's looking for his corner forward. Will his corner forward get a score out of it? Yes, he will. And at the corner forward, of course, is Sean Walsh. Good work by O'Donnell inside. That height is a huge advantage. He's standing probably at 6'3", and it's a difficult man to mark. And we've seen him when Brasa were winning the All-Ireland Junior. He was coming on in the latter stages of games, and well, teams didn't expect him and all his height, and he was causing huge problems inside in the edge of the square. And the man commissioned to mark him now is the centre back, of course, and the centre back is Padraig Greedy, gone in on Jonathan O'Donnell. They won't mind me calling them veterans. Now with the kick out is David Kearns, puts it right into the middle of the park. That's well won. Cordal are winning a lot of ball in the middle, and on that occasion it was their full back, that's Joe Sheehy, still with possession. Jason Cronin puts a beautiful ball inside. That mark is won again by Sean Walsh, and with that he decided to play on, and with that he wins the free. And there's Seamus Mulvihill going over explaining listening to the Scartaglen players why he's given the free, but he won that mark well, and that seems to be a tactic as well by Cordal, getting out in front of the back, and when the likes of Philip O'Connor or any of the wing backs, on that occasion it was the full back, and that was Joe Sheehy putting that ball in, and they're winning their marks, and they have a chance here of putting it over the bar. Looking up the scoreboard, it's 5 points to 3 in favour of Cordal. Now, will they make it 6 points to 3? It should. The kick seems to be good off the left, and it's over the bar. A good score, well worked right from the middle of the park, and they'll be quite happy with that, the Cordal side, keeping pressure on that goals of David Kearns on the Scartaglen side. Now the wind has really built up inside here, and we're looking, of course, good work on that occasion as well by Jason Cronin, of course, and with the kick out will be David Kearns, the keeper, in I suppose rushed for the kick out, but looking up the scoreboard, the Scartaglen side are 3 points behind. It's Cordal 6 points, Scartaglen 3 points. We have 10 minutes remaining in the first half here in Castleisland. Now that ball is in, stays high in the sky, says he, but now it comes to ground, and the man who goes back and collects that dirty ball is the wing back for Cordal. That's Pádraig Brosnan now will give inside, looking for his Shea Welch has come very deep to collect. Now Shea Welch, he'll offload, looking for Philip is controlling matters the most. Clifford did it last night for his Kerry. Philip O'Connor is doing it this evening for Cordal. That ball is spread wide, looking for Thomas Ford now, he spreads it wide. Jason Cronin sells a lovely dummy inside, gives it inside, looking for the man to start on the move. That was Shea Welch out in front of the corner back. Alan Horn will try to stand him up. It's important for Scartaglen, they don't foul, they surround him. This could be overplayed, and with that, the good defensive work there has to be said by Scartaglen. They got back in numbers, surrounded the player that had possession. Of course, that was the corner forward, that was Eamon Nolan on that occasion, and won it. But from that kick out again, or from that free out, Cordal have the momentum at the moment. It's with Brian Reedy, he's on the D, a neat little ball inside. I know what Brian was trying there, could have been kicked over the bar, but it was a low shot in the end, and well held inside by David Kearns. Now they break from the back through Pádraig Reedy, coming outside the 20-metre line now. He'll try to sell one dummy, a second dummy. Now he'll offload it. The man that comes to help is his midfielder, of course, that's Sean Horn. Sean Horn now will take the return pass from Giles O'Connor. Now it's a one-man show as far as they're concerned. It's a second man show, and he's still in the same family. That is Eddie Horn. Eddie will sell dummies. He's surrounded every time he gets the ball by 2 Cordal players, but still managed to hold possession of Scartaglen side. Now their wing back has gone forward, and that is Josh Kearns. Josh Kearns will give it out to his corner forward. Corner forward is Shea Walsh. It's high, but it's also to the left and wide, and making it very difficult inside for those attackers of Cordal were the Scartaglen backs, and they really surround the Horns when they get the ball, and that'll tell you the threat of these two men, both Eddie and Sean, and they're trying to bring other players into play. And in the end, it's the last few shots, you could say, on goal by the Scartaglen side of more hit and hope, and that is down to the pressure and the bodies back by the Cordal side. Now Sean O'Kirwan puts that ball into the middle of the pitch, but it goes beyond that and drops beautifully for the wing forward. Oh, chance of a goal here, and it's number 15, of course. Number 15 is Sean Walsh. Where's that? It's is it? Yeah, it's gone over the bar. One umpire looked at the other. It bypassed midfield, and what a chance there. And of course, great work by the wing forward as well, Michael Flynn. But I thought he was going to take it on, go 1-on-1 with the keeper. But the end result, take your points, they say, and the goals will come. Looking up at the scoreboard, it tells us 8 minutes remaining in the first half here in Castleisland. Looking up the scoreboard, it tells us also that Cordal are in the lead by 4 points. It's Cordal 7 points, 3 points for Scartaglen, and it's David Kearns once again, a very busy goalkeeper with the last number of minutes with these kickouts against that strong wind. The wind could be a telling factor in this game. It will be to the advantage of Scartaglen in the second half. Now with the kickout, that'll fall, and Philip O'Connor will win it beautifully, and Philip wins it, and he's still tackled, and with that he gets the free. That ball is put inside. Their corner forwards are quite lively. Sean Welch now with the ball tries to get inside. He turns right, turns left, puts it over on the left. That is a very good score. It's all about sending in quick ball into those inside forwards, and a great pick out there by Philip O'Connor for his inside forward Sean Walsh, and that takes the Cordal side into a 5-point lead. I'm here fighting with a wasp as he's attacking the cameraman and attacking the fella in commentary. Looking up at the scoreboard, it says 8 points for Cordal, 3 points for Scartaglen. 1 or 2 players outside getting to know each other, a bit of a schmozzle, but this was always going to happen. A little bit of disruption here as we look out, a number of players getting involved, and I'm sure the likes of Seamus Mulvihill is getting involved, and I suppose the one thing they will be asking their players just for common sense to prevail, and every man wants to stand his ground in this one. And one man fighting the cause inside there as well is Jonathan O'Donnell. He's a big man to be pushing around, and I'm sure here Seamus Mulvihill will have a chat with Stephen Mulvihill, who's on the line, and one man they are going to be talking to is the full-back, and the full-back of course of Scartaglen is Joe O'Connor, the captain of the side, and also the corner forward on the Cordal side, that's Sean Walsh. And the one word we can hear, I suppose, when we have no supporters in the game nowadays, we can hear what's been said. And one thing, 2 words, Seamus Mulvihill said, cut it out. Maybe there's 3 words in that. Cut it out. Cut out and cut it out. Well, he's given the message, and he's also issued a yellow card there as well. And, well, I suppose tempers do rise in games like this. It's local rivalry. We're well used to this out this side of the country. Now, 6 minutes left in the first half here in Castleisland, Desmond. An entertaining game so far. It could be a game of 2 halves. Cordal have the wind in the first half, and that's just proof of the pudding since he is in the eating. David Cairns kick out. Of course, he's playing against the wind in the first half. That's gone over the far sideline, and with that it'll be Philip O'Connor taking this line ball about 35 metres out from the Scartaglen goal. Now they keep possession, try to get inside. Jason Cronin now with the ball, trying to swing one way, trying to swing the other way. Offload now, Jason, but still with possession. Philip with that high hop and that rotation, that swivel, gives it to the midfielder, the big midfielder, of course the number 8, that's Donald McCarthy. Still have possession, nobody has a shot at goal. Now Jason with an up and under, they say. That is a beautiful score from Jason Cronin. His brother Billy is on the substitute bench, but the man that's on the pitch is doing the business as far as Cordal is concerned. We're looking up at the clock now. It's telling us 5 minutes remaining in the first half here in Castleisland. The advantage in this local derby is with the Cordal side. It's Cordal 9 points, 3 points for Scartaglen. And once again, it's David Cairns with a kick out. His last kick out went over the sideline. Can't blame the man at all with that strong wind. Now, will the wind take it to the far side again? He still goes to that side, but he gets more distance in it. Up go the big men on the far side, and the man who wins it is number 9. That's Kieran Enright. Kieran Enright being chased there by the number 14, of course, Eddie Horn on the far side. They've been starved in possession, of course, in the first half. The Horns, because of that strong wind and the dominance around the middle of the park by the Cordal side. Now trying to get out of their own half through their wing forward. The Scartaglen inside, Niall Casey over the far side, putting that ball forward, looking for his midfielder over the far side, the tall man Thomas Ford up along the wing, loose marking at the moment by Cordal. Players have it, have possession. I thought that was a free out for well, selling the dummy the wrong way, to see, but it's still with Mike Horton over the far side. Give it to his wing back, that's Hugh O'Connor. A neat little ball inside, looking for their inside forwards, but every time a Scartaglen man gets a 2 surrounds him. This occasion it's Josh Cairns over the far side, and with that, unfairly tackled by the Cordal side, and they're going to get a free in here about 25 metres out from the Cordal goal, and I'm sure it'll be one of the Horns to take this, and it'll more likely be Eddie Horn again taking this free. They've been starved of possession with the last 5-10 minutes. Well, now we've 3 minutes and 42 seconds left here in the first half in Castleisland. Looking up at the scoreboard, it's 9 points to 3, and with that, the wise thing probably was to play it back to brother Sean. Sean will take a hit and hope kick again, but that'll fall harmlessly to the right and wide. Another wide for Scartaglen. Looking up the clock, it tells us just over 3 minutes left in the first half here in this local derby. The wind is strong, and fair play to the Castleisland Desmond's groundsmen and club here. They have those flags up with a couple of days. The Scartaglen club, I suppose, have their colours up there, likewise Cordal, and our national flag of course as well here in Desmond. And it's great to have this pitch for a local derby. You could say it's right in the centre of these two parishes. With this, it's Sean O'Kirwan with the kick out. Seamus Mulvihill having a word, making sure that everything is safe to continue play. Now Sean Og gets real distance, goes down to the post in 45. Out will come O'Donnell. That ball will drop. They're picking up the breaks. Philip O'Connor picks up the break from O'Donnell. He's inside in the D. Philip will look up. He'll kick it. Will he kick it over the bar? Just tails in the end for Philip. But good work again by Jonathan O'Donnell. He's reading those. He's playing full forward, but he comes out to the 45 because Sean O'Kirwan is getting serious distance on those kickouts with the wind. O'Donnell is breaking, and with that you have to say the inside forwards of Cordal, Sean Walsh and Eamon Nolan, are picking up those breaks and making it very difficult. But the second half, it'll be interesting how Cordal will adapt, because they'll be playing against that wind, and the The old saying going, you'll need those points if you're playing with the wind. Well, they have 6 of them to the advantage at the moment. It's 9 points for Cordal, 3 for Scartaglen. 2 minutes left of normal time at the end of this first half. That ball is well fetched over the far side by the big man in the middle of the park. That's the giant captain, that's Kieran Enright. Puts that ball inside, looking for a live wire, and that's Sean Walsh. Sean is unfairly tackled over the far side, and with that, it will be a free in, and the more likely it'll be Philip O'Connor taking this free. And well, he's about 30 metres out from the Scartaglen goal. He's about 5 metres in from the far sideline. He'll hop once, he'll hop twice, he'll hop a third time. Now he's stationary, now he'll move forward. Philip, 9 times out of 10 he puts him over. He tries to judge that wind. It's high, but where's it gone? Commentator's curse. It's gone to the left and gone wide. Look up at the clock. It says 1 minute and 21 seconds left here in the first half in this derby, and of course there's a playoff game in the 2020 Kerry Petroleum Junior Club Championship, and of course it's a Group 2 game. And we're looking, it's 1 minute left of normal time at the end of this first half. The scoreline reads 9 points for Cordal, 3 points for Scartaglen. Now with the kick out, of course it's David Kearns. David Kearns comes over this side. Up will go the big man, that's Thomas Ford in the middle of the park. Wins it as well, the strong man. Good pair of hands as well by their wing forward. Their wing forward won it in that occasion. Niall Casey putting it up along the wing, looking for the man that's gone forward. That's Hugh O'Connor. Hugh O'Connor put a neat little ball inside, looking for his corner forward. That's Shea Welch, of course. Shea Welch will try to pass 2 backs, 3 backs, tries to get his pass away, surrounded by a number of Cordal players. Nobody can pick it up. A ball of ice at the moment. It's slipping to the ground, and with that it goes out over the line, and it's going to be a line ball here down about 10 metres out from the end line. Of course that Cordal are defending, and we're looking, where will this go from? It's going to be a Cordal line ball trying to get out of their own defence. Man for man now. It's a case of giving it to the man that can win it, and the man on this occasion that wins it is Donald McCarthy, the giant captain, big strong man that is, putting it back, looking for his wing back, and his wing back of course is Brian Reedy. Brian Reedy now, they're putting out, there's always good support play. They get it out to their half forward. The half forward of course is Michael Flynn, moving at that pace now. They are. Philip O'Connor didn't get that. I don't know if it was his tiny shoelace on that occasion, because the man that won it was Sean Horn out in front of him. They start again in the middle of the park, Scartaglen. It's recycling as far as they're concerned. Looking up at the clock, it's 9-3 to the advantage of Cordal. 9 points to 3. We're into injury time. We'll have time for the water break and any injury we have had in the first half. The ball is played again. Looking for the wing forward, of course, that is Flawn McCarthy. Put a neat little ball inside. That's well covered by the Cordal players, but they managed to get away with it. Scartaglen winning possession back, and it's Brendan Rahilly. Very tight area to get anything out of it there. Likewise Shea Walsh. They'll have to come out to the 45. All around the house now with Sean Horn. He's spreading wide, looking for his wing forward. That's Niall Casey. Niall Casey now offload to Eddie Horn. Eddie's about 40 metres out from the Cordal goal. He's outside the D now. He'll have to play that back, looking for Ford. Ford high, but he also, well, it stays in play, and will they reach it? No, they won't. That'll go over the end line, and that'll be another wide for Scartaglen, and that'll tell you how difficult. And Cordal, will they have learned from the first half experience of looking at the Scartaglen side how difficult it was for attacking? Scartaglen will have the wind in the second half. Now it's Sean O'Kirwan. We're into injury time here in this local derby between two great rivals in Kerry. That is Scartaglen and Cordal. That ball is high into the sky. Up goes O'Donnell. Oh, well held by O'Donnell inside. He offloads at speed. He gives it to Philip. Philip drops it inside, looking for his corner forward. The corner forward is brought down. This could be a penalty. It's Eamon Nolan. Eamon Nolan is brought down, and again it was O'Donnell inside the 45, offloaded to Philip O'Connor. Then they had the flying corner forward. That was Eamon Nolan. Got into the square, went to ground, surrounded by a number of Scartaglen players. They weren't going to stop him, but they did stop him by pulling him down, and now we're going to have the penalty, the first penalty of the day, and it'll be keeper against keeper, because Sean O'Kirwan has marched all the ways from his own goals to the opposing goals, and he's going to be looking. I suppose the man that's going to be staring him in the eye is David Kearns. The two furthest players away from each other all day. Now they're the two closest players together, and look, it'll be Sean O'Kirwan. The experience, of course, he's played soccer, he's played outfield for Cordal. He's a serious keeper up against David Kearns, who is a serious keeper. He's on his approach. Oh, it's a brilliant goal. Sean O'Kirwan, he guessed it right, David Kearns, because I'm sure he's played him in the past, but Cordal have taken advantage to their goalkeeper after winning that penalty by Eamon Nolan inside in the fouled, and it was Sean O'Keefe up against David Kearns. Looking up at the scoreboard here at the end of the first half, it's 1-9 for Cordal, 3 points for Scartaglen, and that is a serious tonic at the end of the first half for Cordal. Now how will Scartaglen respond to this? Over the far side we're looking at the man in the 40 course, that's Brendan Rahilly. They have possession here. Scartaglen has gone out over the line, a line ball in the far side. Now where are they going with it? Will they go long, will they go short? That ball is going to float inside. Will it be a Cordal man? Up goes Brian Reedy. That's well won by Eddie Horn between two players. He has the class, but he hasn't the distance on this occasion. Sean O'Keefe, that was bread and butter stuff, and that brings an end here to the first half, and the substitutes from both sides applaud both sides, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty of drama in the second half here in Desmond's. But how decisive could that goal be at the end of the first half, where Sean O'Keefe took advantage of a penalty won by Cordal. He went eye to eye with David Kearns, and a great strike. If you saw it in the Premiership you'd say he's getting 200,000 a year, but they're not, Sissy. We're here in Cordal, it's an amateur, or here in Castleisland even, it's an amateur game. It's Cordal versus Scartaglen, and just to confirm that half-time score here again in this playoff of the Kerry Petroleum 2020 Group 2 game, it shows on the scoreboard the time says 0. That means we have to start the second half, but the score says 1-9 for Cordal, 3 points for Scartaglen. No. Where the scoreboard reads 1-9 to Cordal and it's 3 points to Scartaglen. Just on behalf of Castleisland Desmonds, we'd like to thank all our club officers that are here today for all the great work in regard to getting this pitch ready, stewarding and everything like that. This is our second week in a row. We had the last week we had Ballymac and Guineguilla, and then on Sunday night we streamed it. We had Castleisland Desmonds were playing Aberdeen in the under 14 county league. So we wish to thank everybody for the last 3 nights here in Castleisland, and best wishes to everybody in the second half. And on behalf of Castleisland Desmonds, once again, thank you very much and hope you enjoy the game. Thank you. Thanks, Jesse. All right, very good. Yeah. Well, now, welcome back. We're back live here on pitch side here again in Castleisland Desmonds. I'm delighted to be joined from, members of both clubs. First of all, I'd like to speak to Eileen Dunlea, and of course, it's been very difficult times with the last number of months because of, COVID has impacted on all our lives, and money and funding is very difficult for clubs. And Eileen, I know you're one of the members that deal with Lotto in your club. What way are things going, first of all, with funding in the Scartaglen club?
Well, our Lotto is just back now with 2 weeks. We've, after having 2 Lotto since the COVID draw, and it's going very well. And our next Lotto now is next Sunday, the 20th, and it's €10,000. So. And
Eileen, is it difficult how you you can come move a bit closer? We're still our two. We're still our meters. What way is it like? Is it difficult to sell? Are you selling online, or are you? It's very. You can't call the houses anymore.
We're going online now. We haven't started yet, but we will be going online. But we have a good fleet of sellers that are selling at the moment for us. But hopefully when the bars get up and running now, it'll make it easier. But our jackpot now is 10,000 on the 20th. So anybody out there, in tickets, you can get them in Daly's, Shop in Scart or Buckley's, or Jackie Reedy's here in town, Rhino Mills, or the Green Door restaurant.
Now, Eileen, how are you all dealing with this? We said about the Lotto, how difficult it's funding, but in general, I suppose we're in a great place to be able to have games.
Oh, absolutely, and it's great to be able to live stream it here to the ones that can come. But it's great to see the football back, so it is.
I think first, the primary objective is to win here today. Looking up at that scoreboard, it says 1-9 to 3 points. Can you come back?
Hopefully, there's a good breeze here.
You have the 16th man. Cordal had the 16th man in the first half. They had the wind, but will it work?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they'll do a bit better.
You'd love to have the bragging rights.
Of course we would. But sure, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, sure, that's what it's all about. And thank you, Eileen Dunlea, of course, talking about Lotto, talking about funding. And now I have, the man representing Cordal chairman, that's Maurice Costello. Maurice, no different to what Eileen was saying. These are difficult times, but you're getting on with it. You have to adapt and be creative.
Yes, Timmy, we are getting on with it. We're after coming up with a new one there, the Lotto Bonanza it's called. We had 2 draws there already. With 2 winners there. Gerald Collins won 500 about 2 weeks ago, and Junior won 500 last week in the draw. So it is with the businesses as well. We'll say we have a shot of businesses here. I'd like to thank them for putting it. Carney's Post Office, we've Martin Curtains, White Sintra, Jackie Reedy's, Brown's Agri Steel, Phil Horton's, Ann Max, Dinjo's, Flowers by Sheila, Michael Guineas in Tralee, King Kebab, Kerry Agri, Dermot's Butchers, and Bartiki carry out. And there's a few new ones that will be coming on board there shortly. Pat the Barber, Nana Bees, the Green Door, Castle Meats, the Mat Shop, and John Brennan's the Barbers. And if anyone else wants to join, they can just get onto us, and we'll get a box in there. We're making boxes. It is good. If we'll just say for Carney's shop there, if there's €30 in the box, 15 if it'll go to the business. We're both back into the business.
That gives it plenty of publicity.
Now Lotto is still running from here up to December. We've a couple of more draws, but we'll probably go with this.
You'll make a politician one day. Lads, enjoy it. I know you'll do well, and you can follow you on Facebook, I take it, both clubs. We're almost ready to go for the second half. We've done, I hope Seamus Mulvihill will wait for me, because I am now searching in my pocket for the second half to get my programme, so as we will do justice to all the players, and that's the big thing for us here in Castleisland for this big game. And at the moment Seamus Mulvihill is out there with both sets of players, and we're saying here it's going to start in the second half here, and driving forward again at every available opportunity. We said in the first half was the Cordal side. Well, the second half is going to be no different. It's going to be playing with the wind, we said, and it'll go against the wind will be Cordal, but at the moment they're in possession through over the far side through Philip O'Connor. Philip O'Connor will play that to the man that won the penalty, of course, in that first half. That was Eamon Nolan. Still with possession, Cordal now. The wind defend the second half here in Castleisland Desmonds. We look up at the scoreboard. It has 1-9 to 3 points in favour of the Cordal side. Now it's Philip O'Connor putting that ball inside. That'll go behind the forward. Number of backs around that forward and won the free. One man against the rest, they say. And Cordal with an easy free here in the second half, about 20 metres out. The angle slightly a bit tight in from about 15 metres from the far sideline, but good work by Cordal. Philip O'Connor putting that ball inside. And well, we said all day, or especially in the first half, that those two corner forwards working really hard, and likewise their half forwards, Cordal. That occasion it was Michael Flynn. I think they won that free, and well within shooting distance here to get another score for the Cordal side. The clock says there's a minute and 10 seconds gone here in the in the second half even, and Cordal with the advantage, 1-9 to 3 points, and they could be adding to that tally. They could go double digits as far as points is concerned. It's taken by Brian Reedy, an easy tap over free, and they get it, and that'll take them now to 1 goal and 10 points to 3 points for the Scartaglen side. And as we said, the wind would be a factor in the second half. Well, it's all about gaining possession to take advantage of that wind. Now, it'll be Sean Oak or Dennis Cairns even with this kick out. We said Sean Oak was minding those goals in the first half. Sean Oak here on, of course, got that penalty as well up against David Cairns, and he struck it beautifully, even though David Cairns judged the right side where Sean Oak was going to kick it, but could it be decisive? Now, with the kick out, David Cairns, he's going for his corner forward, has come very deep, and that is Mike Horn winning that. They start from their own half back line now. The dander will be really up at them. They'll try to get scores early on, and that's Josh Cairns marching up the field, but Cordal have worked a lot of bodies behind the ball. Now they're trying to catch him on the counter-attack. This man has played well in the first half. This is Eamon Nolan of the Cordal side, goes into contact, and if you go into contact, the big men will come out with it, and that's what they do. Of course, there'll be big expectations here from both Eddie Horn and Sean Horn in the second half. Likewise, their midfielder Thomas Horde, they're going to put it in on top of the full back of Cordal, but it's broken down. You have Eddie, of course, playing inside in that full forward line. Eddie 3 against 1 inside, and with that, that's going to be a free out. Eddie not happy probably with that decision, and I'm sure Seamus Mulville will go in and have a word, but the centre back has gone in on top of Eddie Horn. That is, I suppose, any place he'll go today, the centre back of Cordal will follow him. That's Sean O'Connell. Of course, Sean O'Connell is in with the Kerry under 20s. Of course, he's one of the panel members of John Shukaru. Hopefully we'll have that game coming up as well. Hopefully, if things it will expand as far as football is concerned over the coming weeks. Kerry playing in that All-Ireland semi-final after a great win over Cork. But it's back here now with Cordal trying to come out of defence, working very hard through Sean Horn, comes outside his half-back line, gives it to a big man in the middle of the park. Of course, that's Donald McCarthy. He'll offload now, give it to Brian Reedy. He'll sell dummies. He's neat in the ball, Brian Reedy. He's been pulled and dragged. He's the man of the point scorer just a couple of moments ago. He's going to pull that long in a race with Philip O'Connor is the cornerback of Scartaglen. That's Alan Horn on the far side. That ball beats everyone out over the sideline down on the far side, and anytime that ball goes out of the far sideline at the start of this first half, well, the Cordal substitutes just applaud it because it's back in their hand. But Scartaglen have it in this occasion. With that, not happy there, Stephen Mulvihill from where it was taken. He's going down. 2 Mulvihills officiating at this game. One is Seamus. They're both referees. One man is doing lines though, linesman today, and of course that's Stephen Senior down on the far side, and Seamus Mulville, of course, the St. Sinnans man. It's going to be a hot ball down below, and I'm sure the big men will go up for this down on the far side. Close contact. He only wants 2 in front of him. That ball is well won there. Well won down on the far side by the midfielder, of course, Donald McCarthy, but it's still, they're going forward. They're going to get a point out of this. Good work by Brian Reedy. Oh, they're not. It comes back into play. Philip O'Connor thought he was fouled there. No, probably overcarried the ball, and with that, there's going to be free out to Scartaglen. Beautiful evening for football. A slight wind, but we'll take advantage of it. It's good to be out. It's a privilege to be here to watch this game between Cordal and Scartaglen. But it's all Cordal at the minute. It's 1-10 to 3 points. Scartaglen needs scores and need them fast. Over the far side, they're driving forward. Will they get the first score of the second half? And a pull shot in the end, and that goes to the left and wide. Looking up at the clock, it tells us there's 4 minutes gone here in the second half here in Castleisland Desmonds in this Kerry Petroleum. Of course, 2020 Group 2 playoff game, and with that it'll be Sean Oak, Kirwan, Seamus Mulville, looking here. There's going to be a substitute, and there is a substitute. The one big man replaced another. That's Jonathan O'Donnell. He's done the job in the first half, winning a lot of ball, and now comes on a man that's hugely respected around the county, the number 22, and that's Eamon John O'Donoghue. Of course, a great warrior for the Cordal side, a great warrior for Kerry Juniors, a great warrior for St. Kieran's, and he still has it. I've heard that he's been training with the last couple of months just to be part of the panel. Well, they're called upon on him now for the second half to try and get more ball, and this man, he's a serious pair of hands, and I'm sure that if ball goes his way it'll be difficult to dispossess him. Now that ball falls in the middle of the park. Scartaglen get hold of it to their corner forward who's come out to collect. That's Mike Horn playing that ball forward, looking for Ford. Are they going to go along with this? The number 13 is putting that ball inside. That's Shea Walsh inside looking for Eddie Horn. Eddie get inside the defence here. A chance for Eddie. He's been pulled, he's been dragged, he'll surround him, still taking too much out of it. Maybe Cordal will clear it. With that they'll go back with for the initial foul. When Eddie got possession of that ball, he was fouled, and he was only one thing on his mind, but they got bodies back. They saw the danger of Eddie, and this should be a point. This should take them. They've only had 3 in the first half because that very strong wind they were playing against. Well, now they have a chance of a 4th one, and it's Eddie Horn who won it inside, and that'll tell you the danger of Eddie, but they're alive to the threat each time. Cordal, he's surrounded by 2-3 players, but he's on that 14-metre line, an easy tap over free for the Scartaglen man. Once that player is getting attention at the moment, it's the corner back, of course, on the Cordal side. That's Gary O'Leary, but Eddie Horn anxious to get on with it because the clock is counting down to see. He kicks that ball over the bar. That'll be Scartaglen's 4th point of this game. Looking up at the clock, it tells us 8 minutes gone in the second half here in Castleisland. Looking up at the score, it tells us 110 for Scartaglen, and it's 110 even for Cordal, and 4 points for Scartaglen. Sean O'Kieran with the kick out. Where's Sean O going? It'll be interesting to see Sean Oak's kick out for this second half, because it was difficult for David Cairns in the first half. Sean Oak gets distance in against the wind, and now comes Eamon John. That's what you need Eamon John to win. Wins that, the very first touch since he come on as substitute. Gives inside to Philip O'Connor. That ball's playing wide. They're playing good football at the moment, the Cordal side, and they're really, you could say, they're really hitting a purple patch at the end of that first half. They're trying to take it into the second half, playing against that wind. They're the ones with the score. Now a beautiful ball spread wide, looking for Eddie Horn inside. He's going to take on his marker here, Sean O'Connell. A hit and hope ball across the square. Will they keep it? Yeah, they'll keep possession. It's their number 17 that had it in that occasion, coming out to make an angle. It's high. Is it over the bar? And it's gone to the left and gone wide, and the man to win possession on that occasion, of course, was their number 17 for the Scartaglen side. That's Brian Reardon, and in the end that ball was gone to the left and gone wide. Looking up at the clock, it tells us there's 8.5 minutes gone in the second half, 110 to 4 points, and they really need to take advantage of those opportunities in front of goal, Scartaglen, if they're to get something out of this game, because if the longer it goes on, Cordal will make it more difficult for them. Now a kick out again, well won again by Eamon John. In the first 2 touches, great fielding by this man. What a brilliant footballer this man still is. Gives it inside to Philip O'Connor. Oh, great work off the shoulder. This is McCarthy en route for Cordal. A chance here for the corner forward. He saw his lights, well, his name flashing in golden lights. It's gone to the left and gone wide. Great effort, but you'd have to say the 2 corner forwards for Cordal, both Eamon and Nolan and Sean Walsh, real live wires and great options in that inside line. But every time, the last couple of occasions that Eamon John has got the ball, he's looking for one man. That's Philip O'Connor inside. And, Philip has played with this man in the past. They know each other inside out. Now, how can Scartaglen respond to this dominance by the Cordal side? Because they're really dominant as far as possession is concerned, and likewise the scoreboard. They're leading by 9 points. They have 110 Cordal to 4 points for Scartaglen. Now there's a line ball over on the far side, about 55 metres out from the Cordal goal. Scartaglen to take it. They'll go along into the edge of the square looking for Eddie. Eddie goes high. He'll tap the ball down. Is it read by one of his own forwards? It is on this occasion. It's the number 17, Brian Reardon. They come all around the house. It's still Eddie. Eddie's trying to do it on his own at the moment. He gives it back now. Will they get a point out of this? It's high. Where's it going? It's gone over the bar. Yeah. Badly needed score, and they've got it. The umpire waves the white flag. Good work there by the corner forward as well, Shea Walsh of Scartaglen. And we know there's only going to be one direct route by Scartaglen in the second half, hitting their inside line. 110 now to 5 points. And one wonder if there was a goal by Scartaglen. how it would really make this game entertaining. But at the moment, Cordal won't argue with that, and we're looking out at the roadside outside that railing, people looking in, cars parked, social distancing at its best. Now, with a kick out is Sean Oak. Again, 3 times in a row he's hit him and John with it. Gives it to Brian Reedy. Brian Reedy puts it inside, looking for Philip O'Connor. Philip O'Connor, the man from Glounthaune, on the run here. That's his townland. He'll play that ball back. Look at Brian Reedy. Brian coming around the house again, giving it back to Philip. He'll spread it wide. They're queuing up here for it. One man has it now, and that is Donald McCarthy putting it inside, looking for his wing forward. A chance here of another goal, and it's their number 10, and that is Michael Flynn. But they get away with it. Scartaglen, a chance there, really prizing openings in that defence of Scartaglen. Now the man who goes back and collects is Sean Horn, the twin. His other twin is inside the edge of the square, and that is Sean Horn. Give it out into the middle of the park to Ford. He puts a neat little ball inside, being pulled and dragged. That's definitely a free, because the man has been pulled and dragged. There's the number 13, of course, and that is Shea Walsh. And with that, the referee was right upon it, and with that he'll get the free, so it'll tell you if they'll spread that ball right and left. The Scartaglen side, they will cause problems, and could really get him back into this game. And it'll be Eddie Horn with this free. He's about 25 metres out from the Cordal goal. He'll hop, and he's having a word there, Seamus, with 1 or 2 players. He's not happy with something. And when Seamus Mulvihill is not happy, he'll let you know about it. With the free is the full forward, and that is Eddie Horn trying to get his team back into it. He'll hit it to the far post. It's going to stay in play, is it? It's closer to the umpire than the players, and that goes out to the right and wide. Another chance gone a begging, and if you were to compare the first half to the second half, each time Cordal got into that position, they were scoring. So that could be the downfall of the Scartaglen side, but it's early stages yet. Looking up at the clock, it tells us 18 minutes left in the second half. Of course, we're going to have a water break as well. Looking up at the scoreboard, it's 1-10 for Cordal, 5 points for Scartaglen. And this game, of course, is being videoed and on Facebook by John C. O'Shea and company. Well, they're doing a great job, and let's hope we're delivering the message to you at home. Now comes the full back, of course, for the Cordal side. That's O'Shea. A turnover here. This is Eddie Horn. He's on the edge of the square. Oh, he could have been a goal. It was written, keep your shot down, Eddie, and it was a goal, but he kept it over the bar, and that's a point. And there was panic stations there by the full back line of Cordal. Eddie was en route 1-on-1 with Sean O'Kewall. Sean came off his line, but he couldn't keep the shot down, Eddie, and it went blazing it over the bar. 1-10 now to Cordal even, and Scartaglen 6 points, 17 minutes left in the second half here. And one of the Cordal players is down injured at the moment, and they had real momentum on that occasion, and we're having, well, there's a yellow card there, and it looks like it's Brian Reardon is going to get that yellow card. So one of the Cordal players down. Sean Oak is telling his player, get up, we want to get on with it. Now, Sean O'Kewall, danger on his goal now. That's alleviated. He'll kick it towards Eamon John, a little push there on Eamon John. That was definitely a free, but they don't get it, but they still get possession through Philip O'Connor. Philip gets the free, being surrounded by 2 Scartaglen players. Now, they're going to spread that ball wide, looking for their wing forward over on the far side. Still with possession is Michael Flynn. Now that shot was closer to St. Stephen's Park than it was to the goalpost, and that's gone to the right and gone wide. Now with a kick out will be David Cairns again. He'll go short, looking for his centre back, and of course that's Pádraig Reedy. Nobody marking Pádraig at the minute, so with that he will come up forward outside his 45. He'll release that ball, looking for Eddie again. Eddie, little nudge there on Sean O'Connell to try and get possession. He does manage to get possession. He's being chased there by Kieran Enright. Still put that ball inside, looking for his corner forward, and his corner forward, his wing back even. Wing back gone forward, and the wing back of course is Josh Cairns, and that gone out to the right and wide. They're winning possession inside, but they're not converting it into scores, the Scartaglen side. Looking up at the clock, it tells us 15.5 minutes left here in this game, the local derby. We expected it to be a lot closer, but they were very clinical in the first half, the Cordal side, and with that they got the scores, and they got that goal that could be decisive. That penalty that was won by their corner forward, that was Eamon Nolan in the first half, and up came Sean O'Keefe to take advantage of it and put it to the left of the Scartaglen keeper David Kearns, so give him a comfortable lead at half time. But now the lead with the third quarter played is 110 for Cordal, 6 points for Scartaglen. Now it's Sean Horn with the ball. He puts that ball outside the 45, looking for the return pass from Brendan Rahaley. Still Sean Horn with possession. He'll turn one way, turn the other, give it back to Rahaley, but good mark, and they've got bodies back. Cordal, they have the homework done on the Scartaglen side. The ball is with Mike Horn now. He'll spread that ball wide, looking for Reardon. Eddie Horn will go outside, toss the 45 to collect. He'll offload, he'll give it to Thomas Ford. He'll hop the ball, put it inside, but they're way out on the far side to get a chance to have a pot of goal at the moment. Still keeping possession to a more central area of the pitch. The number 20 has it now. Of course, that's Damien O'Connor putting the ball inside. Cordal get bodies back. Scartaglen man goes to ground. The Cordal man goes to ground, and the referee was close up with that, and he's going to give a free out. Seamus Mulville to the Cordal side, anxious to get on with that speed. Give him that ball up along the line, looking for their wing forward. That's wing forward, of course, is Michael Flynn over on the far side. And with that ball has gone over the sideline. Game gone a small bit scrappy. Cordal or Scartaglen not converting on that inside line. And looking up the scoreboard, it's telling us there's 14 minutes left in the second half here, but the advantage is with Cordal, and they have an advantage of 110 to 6 points for Scartaglen. And we're going to take our second water break of the afternoon here in Castleisland. The sun comes down, that's nice to see, and the happier of the two teams and the management team will have to be the Cordal side at the moment. They seem to have done everything right, and they seem to have those trump cards to play as well. John O'Donnell played the first half at full forward. Now we've Eamon John coming out around the middle of the field to win possession. It's all about possession when you're playing against the wind, and that's what they're doing in the second half, the Cordal side. And well, we said the first half they were taking advantage, but when games like this, a local derby, you want your big players to stand up and be counted, plus the lesser known players to play their part. And Philip O'Connell today is giving them a massive outlet on the 40. And like I say, Michael Carroll has those guys playing, coming off the bench, able to play their part as well, and that's what it's happening. We're looking up at the clock, it's going to count down whilst the water break is happening. Seamus Mulville having a word out there with his linesmen, of course. Been a pretty sporting game between these two great rivals so far, and well, we can't see it ended up no other way, but at the moment you could say that Scartaglen will probably need goals to come back into this game. And well, there's a pretty stubborn defence out there as far as Cordal is concerned. Sean O'Keefe now running back, he's defending the goals on the roadside in this second half, and like I said, a decent crowd outside the railing here in the Desmond's roadside this afternoon. Social distancing is the order of the day, which is important, and obviously no supporters inside the grounds, and well marshalled by the stewards, it has to be said, here as well. So we're going to resume play. We've completed our water breaks for the evening here in Castleisland. There's 12 minutes of normal time left, and with that, Scartaglen will need scores and need them fast. But at the moment it's Cordal in control. Now it's the Scartaglen midfield. That's Thomas Ford over on the far side. They'll try to let that ball into the edge of the square, or they'll try to walk it in. If you walk it in, Cordal will get possession, but on this occasion there's a foul inside the 45 of Cordal, and it's by Scartaglen. And if for dissent, for chatting to the ref, or for not moving the ball swiftly, he's going to put it in a better position again for the Scartaglen side, and this will be about 28 metres out from the Cordal goals, and I'm sure it'll be Eddie Horn again going to take on this free. They've 6 points on the board. This could be 7. The Scartaglen player is still down, receiving attention. Now he gets up. They're hardy boys in Scartaglen. He'll run it off, and that's what we used to hear years ago. In Ballylongford, I've Ballylongford men and Sinnans men out there, and they'll tell you, run it off. Now you don't have physios giving them the attention that they had a few weeks ago. It's just telling you, run it off, because this is a local derby. Eddie Horn now with this free, 25 metres out, put it on the left. He should slot this, and with that it goes over the bar. The umpire runs straight for the white flag and wave it to the players, and panellists and officials, that's telling us it's a point, and the men behind his back will tell that it's a point, the men and women behind his back, because I'm sure there's ladies outside that railing as well, looking in at this game, trying to find out how their team is getting on. But at the moment it's all the Cordal way, and we're going to have another substitute as far as the Cordal side is concerned. Number 28 is coming on. The 28 for Cordal, of course, is Kieran O'Donoghue. Great name, great servants, the O'Donoghues in Cordal down through the years. And is that telling us that Michael Cahill thinks he has this game in the bag, that he's running his bench? But I'm sure there's a good reason he's doing it, and it's all about keeping players happy at this level, and that's what they're doing. Now, Seamus Mulville, once that player has retreated and gone off, he's going to continue with play. That kick out again going the way of Eamon, John O'Donoghue. Eamon grabs it. Great hands by this man. He'll give it to the man that's just given out, Kieran O'Donoghue. A big hefty belt of his shoulder there by the Scartaglen and Donald McCarthy, but they still manage to retain possession. That ball is given up along the line, looking for the midfielder, and of course that's Kieran Enright letting that ball in, and they still have it. All chance here for Cordal. It's the number 25, he fumbles it. Of course the number 25 is Sean Brosnan, and it ends up in a goal. It's a goal. Good work by the end. It came out of nothing. A ball that was fumbled. And as we see that player running towards us now, a great work inside by Cordal, and that could be curtains as far as Scartaglen is concerned. It looks like Brian Lee Reedy was part of that in the end, and it was a ball that was fumbled on the first occasion by Sean Brosnan, but now they have a scoreline and an advantage, the Cordal side, of 2-10 to Scartaglen 7 points, and a man receiving a treatment outside there is their midfielder, that's Donald McCarthy, and came out of nothing, it says, and it looks like it was Brian Reedy. Brian Reedy in the end got that ball over the line and gave David Kearns no chance. Goal scored by Brian Reedy in the second half, and in the first half it was by Sean O'Kirwan. Now from the kick out, and that putting pressure on that centre back. Of course the centre back is Pádraig Reedy, was Eamon John O'Donoghue, a man of huge experience, of course the selector as well with St. Kieran's. Now he's putting it all in here for the Cordal side. Scott really should probably have got more scores in the first half just to keep in touch with the Cordal side. They had that comfortable lead at half time, but Scott really haven't taken advantage of that final third of the pitch with the possession they have in the second half. They still have possession now, Scartaglen. These guys won't drop the heads. There's a proud club, this Scartaglen side. It'll put it into the edge of the square. Up will go their corner forward, Mike Owen. They still have possession through their wing back. This is Josh Kearns. Is this a penalty? This man was pulled on his way. I thought that was a pull, but they still have possession, and a man trying to beat an army of Cordal players. They're trying to walk it in to the goal. That could be the advantage of. They had their chances inside, but you could have said maybe there was a pull of a jersey inside there, but they didn't manage. There was too many players surrounding the Scartaglen player, and well, on other days there might be a consideration there of a penalty, but not on this occasion. It's looking up the clock. It tells us 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game. The advantage is with the Cordal side, and a big advantage at that. 2-10, the equivalent of 16 points, and 7 points for Scartaglen. Sean O'Kirwan with the kick out right into the middle of the park. Up will go the big men. One of those big men is Sean Horn, but that ball is broken down, and you'd have to compliment into the Cordal man's hands, and you'd have to admire the management on the Cordal side this afternoon. They've done their homework as far as the big threats coming from Scartaglen, but they've also played expansive football, and they have the go-to players to execute that game as well. The likes of Brian Reedy, of course, Philip O'Connor, their inside forwards have played really well. Eamon Nolan, Sean Walsh, they all putting in their big shifts, and of course the big men in the middle of the park, Donald McCarthy and Kieran Enright as well. And with that, there's going to be a free in the middle of the park to the Cordal side. Mossy Enright trying to roll back the ears, running to the sideline. He's probably running in with information. He's the medic as well. That ball is sent in by Donald McCarthy into the edge. That'll be broken inside, but they have it. Scartaglen have it through Sean Horn. They'll come out, and neat little pass by Sean Horn will give it out to Mike Horn, who's playing very deep, but a poor pass in the end, and that'll be well fielded by Kieran Enright, the giant captain of the side. The two midfielders are giant captains. That's Donald McCarthy and Kieran Enright. Now it's with Philip. He's full of running. He'll play that ball back, looking for the number 18, of course, and that's TJ O'Connor running his bench now. Michael Cahill, the manager of the side. 5 minutes 44 seconds left in this game. 2 2-10 for the Cordal side, 7 points for the Scartaglen side. The local derby, the bragging rights tonight will be with the Cordal side, it looks. Now it's Sean Horn, a big tackle there on the number 28 for Cordal. That's Kieran O'Donoghue. They managed to win it back, Scartaglen, through Mike Horn. And with that, we have a little bit of sumo wrestling here, and I see a few players getting involved in it. Scartman and Scart and Cordal just getting close up and personal, looking up at the clock. It says 5 minutes left here. Stephen Mulville helping with the officiating, or Stephen is on the bench, or on the sideline even, for this particular game. Seamus Mulville will have a few words. Common sense should prevail here. Seamus just tells lads, go to the sideline, and no need for this at the end of the game, because I think the game is probably done and dusted from a scoring point of view, as in winning it. It looks like Cordal's day. They have a lead of 2-10 to 7 points. Looking up at the clock, it's 4 minutes and 38 seconds gone, and that'll be Mossy and Wright out again with the first aid box, and Mossy in no hurry at all, and this is important that everyone is safe and healthy to resume playing. Of course, the man down injured at the moment is the number 28 for Cordal. That's Kieran O'Donoghue, the big man, the big substitute that has come on, and a big physical team, this Cordal side as well, and few players looking for attention. Of course, Damo Kerwin, the man that won the All-Ireland club at senior level with Castleisland Desmonds back in the 80s, was at the mid-80s, 85. He's out there helping the cause for Cordal as well. Now Seamus Mulville going to have a word here with one or two players, and common sense prevailed, and well, it's called pride of the parish, standing up to the man in the opposite jersey, and that's all it was. There was only a bit of handbag stuff there, I think. Looking now, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Huge advantage by Cordal in this game, and it looks they'll be into the next round. Now it's Pádraig Reedy running into the heart of this Scartaglen defence. Gives it now to Brian Reardon over the far side. It's on the edge of the square. It's with Josh Kearns. They're trying to offload it to Horn, Eddie Horn, but his shot rebounds off a Cordal player. They'll come out of defence, and more than likely will be. It's a turnover here. It's danger here for Cordal. Still with possession. It's Horan trying to get his shot away into the corner of the net, but it goes harmlessly to the right and wide. Looking up at the scoreboard, it says 2-10 for the Cordal side, 7 points for Scartaglen, and many thanks to you, well, I suppose listeners and viewers here today. We were delighted to bring this game to you, and thanks to the sponsors as well. It's important in these difficult times that you see well, your players and the pride of your parish, and thanks to the people of Scartaglen and the people of Cordal for getting this game out to the viewers today, and especially the two clubs as well. And one man has come on now, a great servant. That's John B. Brosnan replacing the number 28. That's Kieran O'Donoghue. Of course, John B, great rivals, of course, Scartaglen down through the years. He's soldiered with many a great team, went to junior finals, semi-finals. Now this ball is hit right into the middle of the park, and up will go the big men, but Philip O'Connor, he's winning a lot of breaking ball today. He'll offload to McCarthy. Now Brian Reedy, the man that scored a goal from play, hitting that ball in, but poor shot in the end. That'll be well fielded inside by David Kearns, clearing their lines now. Scartaglen tying it from the back as well. Now McCarthy wins it again. Donald McCarthy, the giant captain, the big man. The big men are coming into play. Now the number 25. The number 25 from Cordal, of course, that's Sean Brosnan. That's gone high and over the bar. And when things are going your way, they're going really your way. And that ball has gone over the bar. 2-11 now for the Cordal side. Scartaglen 7 points. And one great man, we've heard him down through the years, Chassie Cronin, the great referee of the past. He just passes me. I think he has enough of it, Chassie. He's moving towards at the gate. Now that ball is high. That's well won by Sean Horn into the edge of the square to brother Eddie. Eddie goes high, taps that ball down. That's well won inside by the Cordal side, and they cleared their lines once again. 1 minute and 19 seconds on the clock, and 2-11 for the Cordal side. 7 points for Scartaglen. Cordal at the back inside their own full back line. Clear that ball out, looking for their man at centre field. That's Kieran Enright. As we said, those two big men put in big shifts in the middle of the park up against two serious players as well, Thomas Ford and Sean Horn in the middle of the park. Ball falls short inside the half back line for Scartaglen. They'll go back and collect. He's gone through a lot of ball, to be fair to him, even though he's in the losing side. Thomas Ford, he's been dispossessed there by Brian Reedy. Brian Reedy now on the 45, gets inside the 45. He'll hold up play, looking up the clock. It says 42 seconds left in this game. In the second half, 2-11 for Cordal, 7 points for Scartaglen, still with possession Cordal, but from a very tight angle that ball is gone to the right and gone wide. But this game is as good as dusted. Cordal will be into the next round, and I'm sure in the years to come there'll be many a great battle between these two sides because they're great rivals. But today Cordal are in such form, and to be fair, they have the players to execute it as well, and a huge dependency on the two horns, you could say, from Scartaglen this afternoon, but they really had their homework done on them. Now the Cordal side, it's with the number 17 of course for Scartaglen, and that's Brian Reardon. Gone through a bit of ball in the second half, Brian, but they're getting bodies back, and guys like their centre forward coming back, Philip is coming back, their wing forward of course, and the wing forward is Michael Flynn is coming back, and a chance here with Eddie Horn, 30 metres out off the left, but again that's gone to the right and gone wide, and you could say that's as good as a score to Cordal because they'll probably clap that wide as well. 2-11 for Cordal, 7 points for Scartaglen. We're into injury time and we'll play that little bit of time that we had for the water break as well. Sean O'Keewan in no rush whatsoever. His team will be safely into the next round of the Junior Championship. This is a playoff game. Maybe if Valentia played Cordal, who knows, we mightn't have this game. But games are important and they have one now. Cordal with the kick out. Not one of his better kick outs, but he managed to get hold of it in the middle of the park. That's the big midfielder, of course, Kieran Enright, the giant captain, putting it across, still with possession, takes the return pass. They'll spread it wide. They always have players in support the Cordal side. Over the far side is Pádraig Brosnan. Pádraig Brosnan will play that ball back to Philip O'Connor, neat little left peg inside, looking for his inside forwards on this occasion. It's the number 25, that's Sean Brosnan, will play it out again to the wing back. Pádraig Brosnan going through a lot of ball. Pádraig goes to ground but managed to get the ball away, but into Scartaglen hand. Scart trying to counter attack, poor pass in the end. They'll spread it wide, and there's TJ O'Connor. TJ O'Connor will hop the ball now. He'll solo the ball. Coming towards him is Mike Horn, but they'll keep possession. They know the clock is on their side. It's 2-11 to 7 points in favour of the Cordal side. Brian Reedy, little bit of class by this player throughout the afternoon. Now gives it inside, looking for his wing forward. His wing forward, of course, is Michael Flynn, still with possession. Philip, that trademark hop, but on this occasion he hops it into Scartaglen man's hands. They'll release the ball down. John B. Brosnan is playing the sweeper role in a race here, and he tries to get hold of the centre forward. Brendan Rahal misplaces his tackle. John B now is trailing on the foot of Sean Horn. Sean Horn goes to ground, and this is going to be a free in to actually Eddie Horn. And well, Eddie is always a danger when he gains possession, but this will be on the 14-metre line. It's 2-11 to the Cordal side, 7 points for Scartaglen. And I'm getting it, the officials here on the sideline are telling me, Stephen Mulville is telling me there's 4 minutes of added time being played here at the end of the second half. Now, what will Eddie do with this ball? Eddie, will he try and make the score respectable, go for goal? They're lining that goals, there's 3 in the goals, there's 6 in the goals you could say now, but maybe they're out from the line of Sean Oak. Once we stay within the rules, will Eddie drive this ball into the back of net? On his approach, it's a bullet, but it's over the bar. It was always going to be a score, and but unfortunately they probably needed a goal, need not more than a goal now to make it look respectable looking. But at the moment we're looking up that scoreboard and it tells us we're deep into injury time here in this playoff game between the great derby rivals, you could say, and that is Scartaglen and Cordal. Cordal will have the bragging rights this evening. Sean O'Keewan with the kick out. Cordal lead on a scoreline of 2-11 to Scartaglen's 8 points. Now where's this ball going? Right into the middle of the park. Up will go the big man, Eamon John. It bypassed him at this occasion. He's caught some mighty ball in the start of this second half for the Cordal side. Coming on for John O'Donnell, who did the job in the first half. Now on the attack is the Scartaglen side. The man being held up there is Shea Walsh, putting it in inside, looking for their centre back Pádraig Reedy into a wall of players, and inside in the D, another foul, slowing down play, and the chance of this free will be by Sean or Eddie Horn again, and Eddie Horn will be on the 20-metre line with this free. and no chance he'll probably go for goal on this occasion, but he's such a good player and a confident player, he probably could. But on this occasion, he'll probably try to get the Scartaglen side on 9 points. Slow stride up, putting it over the bar, and that takes now Scartaglen to 9 points. But Cordal with that very comfortable lead of 2 goals and 11 points. Sean O'Kirwan been quite busy in the second half. It's just they probably didn't create that goal scoring opportunity. Scartaglen, we thought they'd take advantage of that wind. Now Sean Oak gives it out to his centre back, and his centre back of course has fouled the ball. That's Sean O'Connell, and Scartaglen were anxious to take the fast free. Seamus Mulvihill didn't allow it, and with that, Seamus Mulvihill, the Scartaglen were unhappy that he didn't let the fast free go. But now he'll probably take him to double digits here. Eddie Horn, he pops that over the bar. That'll take Scartaglen to 10 points, and Cordal 2 goals and 11. And well, of course, the management team of both sides. Of course, you have Tom Doyle and Tim Dineen and Tim Cullity on the Scartaglen side, and of course Michael Carroll and Kevin O'Connor, of course, number of people involved with the Cordal side. That ball is put into the middle of the park again. Up will go the hands. Who'll break it? It breaks into a Scartaglen man's hand at the moment. Winning possession, but it's a bit late in the day probably to get in the big scores as far as Scartaglen is concerned. The man that comes out to collect their corner forward. Their corner forward, of course, is Shea Walsh, putting that ball into the middle. Driving forward now is their man Brendan Rahilly. Brendan will put it in for Sean Horn. That's well cut out there by Sean O'Connell. Of course, we said earlier, Sean O'Connell, former Kerry minor, involved now with the Kerry under-20s. A number of players involved in this game have worn the Kerry jersey at some level. Now this ball is put in right into the middle D for Scartaglen. They're attacking that roadside goal, the scoreboard goal in the second half. They are now, there it is, it's all over. It's all over. Seamus Mulvihill is called into proceedings here at the Desmond pitch, and it's Cordal with that emphatic victory. Even Cordal win on a scoreline of Cordal 2-11, Scartaglen 10 points. And you have to be said, it was a pretty sporting game, a lot at stake here, but Cordal were just in prime form this afternoon, and they had the big players to come in and do a job as well. It was a case they took advantage of that wind in the first half, where they had a goal from a penalty at the end of the half, where there was a foul on their corner forward, and that was Eamon Nolan, and Sean O'Kirwan was the man who deputised as the penalty taker, and a great strike by him past David Cairns. And they say goals win games. Well, Cordal got the 2 of them. The second one by Brian Reedy after good work, of course, by Sean Brosnan after a ball was fumbled inside the edge of the square, and there was Brian Reedy, sharpshooter himself, hit it into the back of the net. So that's very sporting there, players, the Cordal players together and the Scartaglen players, and they worked hard for this, done a lot of work over the last number of weeks. Likewise Scartaglen, and they move forward here, and I tell you, no matter who they meet, they'll be a huge threat, because things are going okay for Cordal at the moment, and they seem to have the players and the management to execute it. And I want to thank you once again. I want to thank JC and his team, JC O'Shea, for recording this and for videoing it and giving it to you, to the people that can't come to these games anymore. And I'm sure especially Cordal people will be delighted with this result, and Scartaglen will follow their team, win or lose, no different to Cordal. And we want to thank both camps and both sets of supporters, and to you the viewers once again. And all I have to say, this is Tim Moynihan just saying goodbye here from Castleisland Desmond pitch. And just to confirm the full-time score here in the Kerry Petroleum Championship Junior Championship game, Group 2 playoff game, it's victory for Cordal on a scoreline. Cordal 2 goals and 11 points, Scartaglen 10 points.